In Rainbows is a phenomenal album released by Radiohead in 2007. Personally, it is my favorite album by Radiohead, and I can honestly talk about it for ages and ages. In Rainbows, it grapples with the idea of reaching for something, but the closer you get to it, the further it gets away. Many people have their own perception on what Radiohead's music means to them, and I think that's what makes their music so good. Weird Fishes / Arpeggi was my first taste into Radiohead's profound lyricism. I found the song back in 2023. One of my friends recommended it to me. And that was when I was first introduced to like the swirling arpeggios and like the hypnotic drums. It blessed my ears back then. And bang, in the midst of all this, I found the song Weird Fishes / Arpeggi. And personally, I think the song could not have come to me at a better time. I think it's shaped the way that I view love and vulnerability and the way I understand the song Weird Fishes / Arpeggi. Ultimately, yeah, it has had a profound effect on the way I view a lot of things in life. Weird Fishes, in my opinion, is about taking the crazy gamble on loving someone who finds themselves much like a rainbow. The deepest ocean you can find yourself in is that of your own mind. At the beginning of Weird Fishes, the metaphorical sea that Thom Yorke finds himself in is that of his own self. I mean, look, like under such an immense weight, you'd find any reason to come up and just grab yourself a breath of fresh air, right? Personally, it's very interesting that Thom Yorke, these eyes that he talks about, find himself at the bottom of the sea. I mean, for this video, I'll be assuming Tom is talking about a love interest because that's the way I perceive this song. To me, the eyes that Thom Yorke sees at the bottom of the sea, they turn him into phantoms, and I view that as they see through him in a way that they see him for him. So they see through the problems, they see through the bad qualities, but they see Thom Yorke, and by extension, an analyzer of the lyrics for who they really are. To be able to look past someone's flaws, to turn that side of them into phantoms, to be able to see through it and just see someone for who they really are is genuinely beautiful and amazing. Alternatively, this lyric can be taken as being looked through, as if someone's trying to find someone else and you're just kind of in the way. It's honestly haunting. To this, I guess, love interest, Tom is just another stranger in the street that you might just glance at as you walk by. Knowing that you're just a phantom, just a distant memory or idea in the back of the mind of the person you love might be the whole reason that at the beginning of Weird Fishes, we find ourselves at the bottom of the ocean. For me personally, I like the idea of someone seeing through your issues and seeing you for you more than the phantom idea of being forgotten in a memory, so I think we'll stick with that. Once you meet someone who sees through your problems and flaws, it makes you beg the question, why should I stay here at the bottom of the ocean? And that's exactly where Thom Yorke goes. Why should I stay here? I mean, what is the point of ruminating at the bottom when there's someone in your life that, I guess, inspires you to be better? When someone else comes into your life and they see through your flaws and the bad things in your personality, it helps you see yourself like that as well. Upon meeting this person at the bottom of the sea, I guess Thom Yorke's internal gaze turns himself into a phantom, for better or for worse. I mean, to me, I think of it as like you begin to see yourself in this light of, the flaws are there, but you can look past it and you see yourself for who you really are. And in a way, all your issues and your flaws dissolve into this person. And I think that's really the essence of what Tom's, I guess, trying to say here is, why should I stay here at the bottom of the sea when this person inspires yourself to be better? I mean, look, Tom says it himself, like if you met someone that saw through all your flaws and all your just insecurities, you'd be crazy not to follow them. And that's exactly where Tom York goes with the next lines. It swells up inspiration. To have someone to follow and lose your worries in is inspirational in a sense. I think this is where we can kind of start to see this cyclical nature of the song with, the swirling arpeggios and the drums and whatever. This is kind of where the song begins to go full loop, because maybe losing your worries and your insecurities in someone else isn't all sunshine and rainbows. You're losing a part of yourself in this person, whether it's good or bad, the part that you're giving to them, you're still losing yourself in this other person. I mean, and Tom York writes, "I'll follow you to the edge and fall off." And I see myself in these lyrics because it's easy to just follow someone and trust in them, and you'll follow them to the edge until you eventually trip and fall. But then again, when this person evaporates away, all that's left is the residue of your troubles and everything you handed over to them to begin with. And I think this kind of can relate to 15 Steps line of, "You reel me out and then you cut the string." It's again this metaphor of being reeled out of the ocean. But in 15 Step, it's this clever metaphor where Tom York is saying that, it's this hope being dragged out of the ocean, but the string is cut before you can make landfall, so you're left in the ocean. I think it's in the next couple lines of Weird Fishes where the meaning kind of really gets drilled home. And Tom York sings, "Everybody leaves if they get the chance." For me, this really cements the vulnerable state that Tom York is expressing himself from. And it's the state of vulnerability that I relate to a lot. The idea of basing yourself so much in someone you love just for them to leave, it's gut-wrenching. Everybody leaves if they get the chance. It's not an idea of if, rather an idea of when. And I think that's just a very interesting thought to grapple with, that everybody does leave in one way or another. Love and losing is cyclical. You love, you follow, you trip, and you're left behind. And the cycle just starts itself again and again. It's a pattern that repeats, and it's one that Tom York and many of us find ourselves in. Unfortunately, everybody leaves, and when you do, you're left back in the deepest ocean, being picked apart by all these things that you thought you had gotten rid of, but they were just under the surface the whole time. Tom York sings about the weird fishes they're all the things that pick at you, that jab at you, all the insecurities. Because when you're in this deepest ocean, that's where they rise, I guess, to the surface, and that's when they affect you. Because once you fall back into that deepest ocean, that's where the weird fishes are. They're there. And unfortunately, that's when you realize they always have been. I could skip this part of the video and focus on the last couple lines of the song, but I really do feel the need to express my personal connection to it, as it has affected me immensely. Back to 2023, Weird Fishes holds such a important place in my heart, I guess. Not only because of the interpretation I've gained from the song, but also because of how I came to find it. I relate so personally to the song Weird Fishes now because I think I understand the lyrics more now than I did back in 2023. Initially, I think I only took notice of the first few lines of Weird Fishes. The part about being turned to phantoms by someone's gaze, it really spoke to me back in 2023. For the first time in a while, I felt such a connection with such a beautiful soul back in 2023. And it just so happened that this song, Weird Fishes, it accompanied me on that journey of love and eventually loss. Because much like the lyrics of Weird Fishes, I followed her to the edge of the earth, and Ultimately, I lost myself in the process. While my connection to her back then brought a sense of clarity, much like the lyrics of Weird Fishes talks about, I lost a sense of identity and person. A lot like the lyrics of Weird Fishes that we spoke about, I don't know if I've lost a piece of myself or if she simply just still carries it to this day. Either way, that idea feels almost poetic that love doesn't just take from you, it leaves something behind. Even though now I would say the weird fishes and the worms, they pick over me in my own metaphorical ocean. Much like the swirling arpeggios and the drums of weird fishes, I too will circle back. I'll roll the dice again, and chances are I'll lose again. Much like the idea of weird fishes for love, anyone would take the chance again because even for that slightest chance of making a real connection that won't leave you back in the depths of your own ocean, you'd be crazy not to follow. I think it's extremely interesting that Tom York doesn't leave this song at the bottom of the ocean. In fact, I think the final lines of Weird Fishes really kind of relieve the pressure of, I guess, the build up of the previous few lines. I mean, I've already spoken about that cyclical nature of loving and losing, but I think that idea is not complete without the last couple lines of Weird Fishes. I hit the bottom and escape. I think the fact that we as people will find ourselves at the bottom of the ocean again and again, every time we hit that low again, we will find a reason to escape. We have a reason to keep going because love is a cycle. The pain is not separate from the beauty of love. It's what gives the beauty reason. Viewing love as a spiral instead of just a single straight line with every person you meet, it gives hope knowing that you must experience the deepest ocean to appreciate the highest peak. And to come back to the idea of everybody leaves if they get the chance, it gives hope in knowing that one day when you find someone who doesn't, I guess you know it's truly love. Ultimately, to me, Weird Fishes captures both the idea of loving and losing. To me, it shows how love can feel like an escape from your own mind, but as quickly as that love finds you, it can leave you. The song is powerful because it reflects something real. The idea that when you know how it could end, you still choose to follow. Even when you know you might fall, you still follow someone to the edge of the earth. You still choose to take the risk.